What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting from the D, and it's one of those warm, feel-good days in the Motor City. So let's get into some of this stuff, man. The topic at hand is the Dodgers pitcher, Clayton Kershaw. He wore a Pride-themed hat on the Pride Night celebration that they did, but he had the audacity to put a Bible scripture with it. So let's jump into that a bit. Kershaw took the opportunity to remind everyone of the rainbow's true meaning. That's what it says here in the article. It says Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Clayton Kershaw wore a Pride-themed hat in a game against the San Francisco Giants, but not for the reason you think. Kershaw and the Dodgers were hosting a NL West rivals on Friday night, a game which they lost 6-2. It wasn't Kershaw's fault, though. He didn't appear in the game. They had to make sure that they added that part there. While he was on the bench, cameras panned to the future Hall of Famer and captured this image. And I'll show you what that image is. It is this. He's got on the Dodgers hat, as you can see, it's got the rainbow logo, but it's got an inscription by it. Oh, let me fix this here. What is the inscription that it has? Well, it's got Genesis chapter 9, verses 12 through 16. It says, and I quote, "And God said, this is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature, that with you for all future generations. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth." This passage comes from the story of Noah and his family surviving the worldwide flood. So it's from Noah's Ark, and it's, the rainbow represents the promise from God that he would never flood the earth again. So he had that on his hat. He just had where you could locate it. That's it. And this proved to be very controversial. People are having a meltdown over it because how dare he? How dare he? I mean, he can have his beliefs, or he can't have his beliefs, or he can have his beliefs somewhere else. It can't encroach upon our beliefs, even though they have no problem trying to force their beliefs on you. How dare you reflect that same energy by just simply representing your belief? You don't have to try to force on them, just representing your belief. There's a problem. It says here, the point Kershaw was trying to make is that the rainbow, commonly associated with the LGBTQ plus community, was not made with the intent of representing that demographic. Instead, it was a sign of a covenant God made to never destroy the earth with a flood again. Its meaning had been hijacked, and Kershaw brought attention to it. Hey, I'm liking the verbiage that they're using in this article, man. Usually in these articles, they're pretty biased towards the rainbow stuff. So the fact that this person here, whoever wrote it, is probably up at the top. I just missed him. That they're like, nah, they not feeling that. It says it's by John Simmons, graduated from Liberty University. Okay, so that's who wrote the article. This upstanding Chad says, I always liked Kershaw as a pitcher. Now I like him even more as a fellow believer. Well, yeah. So of course, there are people that were upset about this. So let's chime in with them and see what they have to say. Clayton Kershaw will always be a Dodger great, but it's things like this that make him a lot less likable. Ooh, yeah, because he put Genesis chapter 9 on his freaking hat. Yeah, that's totally something that he should be condemned for. Be a tolerant Christian and accept that there are others who believe differently than you. I love how people like this who aren't Christians try to tell you how to be a better Christian. I mean, that's just so amazing to me, how they have all the answers on how to be a better person, be a better Christian, be a better man. They have all the freaking answers for how everybody else should move. The thing is that he doesn't have to be tolerant. He doesn't have to be tolerant. He's not out there championing against what you're doing. He's just simply saying, this is my belief. You guys are having a night where they're virtual signaling to a just eye-rolling degree. And he can't just simply write his message on his hat, especially since he knows that the cameras, they're not going to be able to help themselves. They're going to pan over to him because they're going to want to see him, because they know he's a very outspoken Christian. They're going to want to see him with that rainbow hat on so that they can run with that image. And he knew that, and he had another thing coming for that ass. Here's another message here from another weirdo. It says, let me get this here. It's disheartening to see so many people siding with this and defending him and acting as if Christians are oppressed. Who the hell says that? He could write this on a hat anytime he chooses, yet he chose to do it on Pride Night. Yes, he can have his beliefs. That doesn't mean that they're good or right. Okay, yeah, a lot to dissect here. First off, saying no one is saying that Christians are oppressed, but let's just be for real here. It's far more acceptable for somebody like these weirdos in the comments to make disparaging remarks towards Christianity. They're not going to be canceled for it. However, just last year before the election, if you said anything against the rainbow community, it was like career sue. So Christians aren't oppressed, but let's not pretend like that it wasn't a lopsided power dynamic for a very long time. The last 4 years, if you were a Christian, it had to be rough for you. I've seen it myself. I'm not even Christian. I just seen it for myself that their values were oftentimes mocked and made fun of. We saw what happened at the Olympics, how they had that disgusting mockery of the Last Supper. So, I mean, let's just come on here. He can write this on his hat anytime he chooses. He sure can. Yeah, he chooses to do it on Pride Night. Yeah, because he, like you said, he can write it on his hat anytime he chooses. And he chose now. Like I previously stated, he knew, with him being the outspoken Christian that he is, they were absolutely going to look for him to see if he had on that rainbow hat or not. And he had something else for that ass. Go to Genesis, the rainbow, this is where it came from. So I love it. I think it's fantastic. He can have his beliefs, but it doesn't mean that they're good or right. Pot calling the kettle black. You can have your beliefs, but it doesn't mean that they're good or that they're right either. Man, it really kills me how these people, they're so worried about other people forcing their beliefs on them. Meanwhile, they are so insufferable when it comes to trying to force their beliefs on other people. It's just absolutely nutty. But that's pretty much it, man. He's caused some controversy. But listen, let's just be for real here. Controversy on Twitter and Blue Sky, those aren't real places. All right. In terms of, is he facing controversy and backlash in his real life? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If he's not on social media, he's not going to feel any of this stuff. What I've learned in my 44 years of life is that for a lot of things, if it's a big deal online, it means a touch lighter than nothing in the real world. So he's not going to suffer any backlash just because he had that on his hat. I mean, some of these people, they really need to get out and touch grass, get a grip, really, and grow up. Jeez. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. I'm leaving it there. Hit me in them comments. I'll holla at y'all. Peace.